What's going on, guys? It's David with Wheelin' on a Budget. Today we're going to go ahead and disassemble these Warren locking hubs and rebuild them to install them on one of the Jeeps. In this video, it'll go over all the tools, all the necessary components you're going to need, along with how to install these, grease them, a whole 9 yards, and we'll get started here in a second. Now, these hubs are completely torn down as of right this second. There's a few things we haven't done. I just don't feel the need to have to do. Right in here is going to be the hub cog. When you turn this like this, it's what actuates the four-wheel drive. Just like that. That is locked. This cog right here can come out. If you wanted to clean it up, you can do that. But I'm not going to go ahead and do that for this video. Right here, we have the spring that goes in the cog that's going to push the gear down in order to engage four-wheel drive. We could, if we wanted to, right here there's a brass bushing. We could have removed that and cleaned that out. I didn't take the time to do that. We just went ahead and cleaned them up really well. Right here on the bench, we're going to go ahead and show you guys how to assemble them. Just kind of get them going, ready to install on the new vehicle. So right here is going to be, these are going to be the retaining springs. These are going to hold the lower assembly and the lower assembly into the hub. I'll go ahead and explain that further when we're on the vehicle looking at it. This is going to be the four-wheel drive actuator gear. This is going to be the idle gear. This is going to be the spring for this four-wheel drive gear right here. Here's a little shim. This shim right here goes down in there against the bushing. And then over here we have all of our spring clips. These spring clips are like a wind right here. They wind up. They go in. They lock in a little bit better than just traditional clips, just like that. And then we got some of the C clips right here. So we have everything here laid out on the table. We're going to go ahead and explain how to put this together, how to get the lower assembly put together, and how to get this assembly all together. We're also going to go ahead and grease up both assemblies to the best of the ability before we put them on the vehicle. Once they're on the vehicle, we'll go ahead and grease them up a little bit more for its final assembly. For this, like we said in the previous, we'll be using Lucas Red and Tacky. This is the best grease in my opinion. I use it for everything, and an applicator brush to do so. So, to start off, we're going to go ahead and get this hub assembly right here, the base end. And then what we're going to do is, on this, there's a silver line right here. That's where it rides on the copper bushing down in here. So you're going to go ahead and don't forget this little shim. You're going to take the shim, just like this, and we're going to go ahead and drop it on like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put her in, just like this. Now you're going to end up with a product like this. This is then going to get a spring clip put on it. So what you do is you take the edge of it, just like there. There's an edge right there. And you're going to divot or put it down in this dip. Oop. Put it down in the dip. Oh, come on. There we go. And you're going to just ride it around the gear, and you're just going to press it down in there. I'm just going to make sure this is all in there. Alright, and then you're going to end up with this right here. It's going to be right there, set up, and this gear will not come out of there. That's how it clicks in, and it's going to stay there. Next, you're going to go ahead and get your grease. Take your brush, get a good dollop of grease. Look at that beauty right there. Right there. And we're going to go ahead and just coat the inner gears right here. With great grease, you can never have too much. You can never have too little. Actually, there is such thing as too little, so I can't say that reliably. We're just going to keep putting lots and lots of grease in here. We want it to be nice and lubed up. Hubs are a serviceable item, so a lot of people recommend that you go through and re-grease these occasionally, pull them off. I like to do it every other trip. I'll go ahead and pull it off. If I road drive my Jeep, which the new one that we are getting is going to be the one I've been building, the big one, or the 87 is going to be road driven. So now this is going to be the grease product of this, and And now you will be greasing down in this spline right here once we install it on the vehicle. But for the time being, since we're doing it on a bench, we're not going to go ahead and spline or grease that up yet. But you kind of see right there kind of how much grease is in there. It is quite a bit of grease. So then we're going to go ahead and set this brush to the side. And the next is going to be this spring. This spring right here sets down. It's going to sit just down in there, just like that. Now this spring right here is going to be actuating this gear. Now this gear right here has a divot right here. This divot right here is going to go downward so that this right here, you can see the teeth surface right here. This is going to go down just like this. Just like that. Oop. Just like that. Now, what this does is this is going to be the four-wheel actuator. Now, down in that gear right here are these teeth right here. Right there. And those are going to, this is down in there. This guy right here will go in down like this, and that's what actuates your four-wheel drive. And then when you're not, that spring, this spring right here, holds it right there. Just like that. So that way, it'll be out of four-wheel drive. Now, to put this in, it's kind of difficult. So it's the same concept as that back one. You see there's a groove here, and you see a groove here. Now, this groove is going to take another one of those springs, those coil springs, or clips, I'm sorry, spring clips. It's going to take another one of those. Now, in order to do that, make sure your gear's put the right way. Make sure that it's well coated down in there for all the grease. You don't have to worry about greasing this up. You can if you'd like. Once it's down in there, it'll grease itself. And also, once it's down in there, we're also going to put another bit of grease on top of it as well. So you're going to go ahead and now push it down in. And it's going to float down in there just like this. And now it exposes the little ridge. And you go ahead and pop that down in there. Ride the clip around. Yeet. There we go. All right. Now it's in. Now you see how the cog's sitting down there kind of flush with the assembly? That's going to be normal. It's going to sit down in there. That is a free-reined hub right there. That is set up to be a free moving part. Now, if you flip it around, here's this side right here. This side will spin freely. See how you're able to spin this separate? But when this cog right here is pushed down, it'll lock it together. Now, it's kind of hard to show on this this hub right here without having one of the tops done. So now we're going to go over to this top part, and we'll go ahead and get this lubed up. This right here is the actuation spring. It's kind of a corrugated style. It looks kind of like expanded steel. It's right here, and it's a springy point right here. It's pretty rigid. It does not like to compress unless it has to. So down in here are these two little tabs. There's a tab right there, and there's a flap right here, and that helps it stay in line, and this is where it hooks onto. So all you're gonna do pretty much, you're gonna go to the end of your spring, you're gonna find your little tail on the spring, just like that. And there's your tail right there. And then you're gonna go ahead and put this down in here where the tail will get hooked onto this little hook right here. Okay, so now I got this in here. As you saw, I had to use the little screwdriver. It's kind of normal. It takes a little bit of time to get it in there. But in there is going to be the spring, and you're going to go ahead and grease this up. You're going to add a liberal amount of grease all up in here, all up in this actuation cam around here, up in the threads around here. It's like I said, these hubs do take a lot of grease. A lot of people, the biggest mistake they have is they lightly grease things. Then they turn around and their hubs fail on the trail. They'll fail when they need them, and it's just a big hassle. You don't have to worry about any of this grease heating up and escaping, anything like that. This stuff's pretty good at holding temperature, along with holding consistency to help. Now, Red and Tacky, my personal opinion, is the best. I use it for everything. I've gone through tubs and tubs and tubs of this stuff. Liberally use it. Add some extra grease down in here, doesn't hurt anything. It'll lubricate up everything else. If it slings around, it'll go ahead and lubricate it everywhere else. Typically, when you go through these tubs, you'll find that these centers right here are filled with grease. A lot of people think that it needs to be filled. Not the case with a lot of the time. While you're doing this, do remember that these holes on the backside are going straight through this, and you will get grease out of these holes. Don't have to panic too much about that. When you go to put these 6 screws in to screw it into this piece right here, it'll go ahead and it'll push that grease actually into the threads, and it'll actually help with it. Now this right here, once you do it, as it's on unlock, because this hub is on unlocked right now, you'll want to lock it. You'll twist this knob all the way around. Warren has a really good lock. They almost flip 100 or 360 degrees to lock and unlock, but it'll lift that cog right there. As you can see, it lifts this cog up right here. Right here, it lifts it up, lifting that spring and everything. It's good to do that, and then put some more grease down in there. Let's get some grease down in there. Get some underneath the cog. That's really what you want to do. You want to get it everywhere. You want to be liberal with it. Put tons of it. Get it nice and filled up. Now you see how in there it's very greased. Very greased. Put some extra grease in there. Give it an extra little dollop right in the middle right here. Get it nice and lubed up. Now that is a completed upper assembly. That assembly is ready to be installed on a vehicle. If all you needed to do was re-grease, you could just literally pull this cap off and grease all this up. Grease all right here up. All up right in here. A lot of people don't need to get down in the grooves and everything. You can. When I do it, I do a deep form. I'll go ahead and clean it, tear it all the way down. For purpose, or I'll tear it all the way down and I'll clean it just like this on this table. I'll do this exact same process. But I'm going to go ahead and time lapse through doing the second one. I've already done both of these, but I'm going to go ahead and time lapse going through this other hub, getting it all set up, getting it all greased. And then next time I see you guys, we'll be at the car installing these, and we'll see how they turn out. As you can see, that's going to be it locked right there. And then this is unlocked right there. So as you can see, it's a greasy mess in there. And then the way this pretty much gets set up, there's 6 holes all the way around it. Once it's ready to go, these will get pressed together just like this. Just like that. And this hub is screwed to this guy. And then these rings right here. These rings will go, right here's the hub. This ring right here will go right about here on the hub, on the inside diameter of the hub. Holding this piece in, along with the axle shaft, will slide through this right here. And this little C-clip right here will go ahead and get clipped to the axle half. I'll show you guys all that in the next part of this video. But this is going to be part 1. This is going to be rebuilding them on a bench. The next one's going to be installing them on the vehicle. This video got a little bit longer than I expected, so we're gonna go ahead and split this up into two parts: how to assemble these, and then how to install them on the Jeep. So thanks guys for watching. We'll have to catch you guys later, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Thank you.